Algebra I Honors, Lesson 8.3, Scientific Notation, and Lesson 8.4, Polynomials. So we're in our polynomials section here, and I find it funny that we actually have a lesson called Polynomials. But what are two ways to write the number 2,100,000? This is one way, of course, and that is, I don't know, what do we call it? Regular notation? Something like that? Standard notation? And we could also write it as 2.1 times 10 to the 6. And that is scientific notation. So why? Why not just leave it alone? Well, as you can see, when you get really, 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 really big numbers, billions, trillions, things like that, this is much easier. Also, we're working on polynomials, so now we have a times 10 to the 6, an exponent up there. And once we have scientific notation, we can do things a lot easier. To go backwards, we go the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we're going to the right, it's negative. If we convert to the right, negative exponent. If we go to the left, positive exponent. That's it. So, I mean, I would pause this and try it yourself. 4.3 times 10 to the 3. Notice the commas are handy. 6, 9. 1, 2, 3, 5.1. And then going the other way. By the way, I know I fly through my videos. You have to be prepared to pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like the 0 out front, just the way we do it. Bothers a lot of people, but that's just what it is. Now, how does this apply to this unit? Well, you would probably use a calculator, but I can multiply these and get 3.3. Then I add these times 10 to the 8th. Here I can divide 4.2 and 2.1, so that's 2. And I really should write it as 2.0 because it is significant to one decimal place. And I can subtract these times 10 to the 1st. You might say, well, why not just write it standard notation? Go ahead. I mean, nothing wrong with that equals 20. Or this equals 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, comma. Yeah. Didn't have to, but I mean, generally, for me, if you're given scientific notation, give them scientific notation back. If you're given standard notation, give them standard notation back. So this takes us into polynomials. Again, that's the title of the entire unit, but we'll be specific. Monomial is one term. Binomial is two terms. Examples: 3x, 2, 7x squared, 4x minus 1, 3xy squared plus 2xy, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Is this a binomial? 4x to the negative first plus 2. No. You say, but it's got two terms. Yeah, but can't have a negative exponent. Can't have an x on the bottom. So that kind of causes problem with people. I think I put it on a quiz and or a test, and people say, whoa, 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 you never told me that. Yeah, I did, but you have to understand that there's rules for everything. Trinomial, 3 terms. I'm not going to write it out. The classic is when we go factoring. Polynomials, any number of terms. The degree is the highest power. So as an example, this has a degree of 2. If I gave you 7xy to the 4th and said, what's the degree? You would say the degree is 5. So you have to take the x to the 1st and the y to the 4th. You will see that on a quiz and or test, so be prepared. Leading coefficient is the number in front of the highest power. So here we go. What kind of polynomials are the following? Pause and go for it. Degrees and leading coefficients. So binomial, degree 2, leading coefficient 9. Monomial, degree 1, leading coefficient 4. Trinomial, degree 2, leading coefficient 1. Not a polynomial. Get an x up in the exponent. This is a binomial. Degree is 8. Leading coefficient is 9. This is not a polynomial. Let's get a negative exponent. How do we arrange polynomials? Biggest first. Now here's a little bone of contention between me and other math teachers. Does it really matter? I would whisper no. Most teachers would say, oh yeah, you gotta have the biggest first. Well, it really doesn't matter. And this is gotcha math teacher moment. Hey, I'm gonna mix them up, see if they're paying attention. If it matters that they're supposed to be given biggest degree first, then I should always give you the biggest degree first. And yeah, you've got to line them up sometimes yourself, so I understand it, but whatever. Let's go with ascending here. And notice I'm doing it 2 different ways, even though I just said the biggest should be first. So I don't know why we're even doing this, but negative 1, I like to cross things off, minus 2x by plus 4x to the 3rd, see ya, plus 17x to the 4th. And descending, of course, would just be turning it around. Not a big deal. A little trickier here. Let's go with descending. I have to consider a as a exponent variable. Sometimes we call it a constant, but in this case, no. So it looks like 4ax to the 5th. That's a 6th power. Why my handwriting is so atrocious today? plus 3 minus a to the fourth plus 9 a squared x. There you go, ascending and descending order. That is it. Go do some problems. And happy mathing.